From the farmers and ranchers of Farm Bureau, this is Farm Weekend. The roller coaster of changes to the beneficial ownership information filing requirement for farms and other small businesses may finally be coming to an end. Chad Smith has the details.
Farmers and ranchers who've been following the changes to beneficial ownership filing requirements may soon have a final decision and possibly some relief. Dustin Shearer, Director of Government Affairs for the American Farm Bureau Federation, says the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network recently announced it won't fine or penalize American companies who fail to file, and an interim rule is in the works.
That was going to update with new reporting deadlines and also hopefully narrow the scope of the companies that are required to file in order to alleviate some of the burden on small businesses. On X, the Treasury Department announced that in addition to that relief, they will not require any domestic company or its beneficial owners to file their information with the federal government.
The Treasury Department also says it will craft an interim final rule that focuses on foreign companies. Shearer says the rule has faced opposition on a number of levels.
Right now, it's facing something like at least 10 different lawsuits all over the country. You've got cases in federal district courts. You've got rulings from those federal district courts that have been appealed to the courts of appeal in various jurisdictions. You've had a bill to delay the enforcement unanimously pass the House, and you've had letter writing campaigns from outside organizations, including the Farm Bureau.
Shearer says, unfortunately, there are still questions about what happens to the information of small businesses who have already filed.
We don't know yet. That's certainly, I think, the next question that my organization and many others that have sent a lot of these letters are going to ask is, we very much appreciate the relief, but what happens to all those people who were just trying to be responsible and filed that information? I'm sure they'd like it back.
Stay tuned to FB.org for updates. Chad Smith, Washington.
Representation from Kansas Farm Bureau President Joe Newland and National Ag Week. More on that when Farm Weekend returns.
With Kansas Farm Bureau health plans, you'll find affordable Medicare supplement coverage that helps cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. We encourage you to compare our rates. Contact a Farm Bureau financial services agent near you or visit KFBHealthPlans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.
Kansas Farm Bureau President Joe Newland has been busy representing the voice of Kansas farmers and ranchers on some of the nation's biggest stages, from attending President Trump's joint session of Congress on March 4 as a guest of Congresswoman Sharice Davids to appearing on CNN to discuss the real-world impacts of trade and tariffs on agriculture and rural communities. His presence underscores the critical importance of ensuring rural America has a seat at the table in national conversations. Join Kansas Farm Bureau and Kansas Living Magazine in celebrating National Ag Week from March 16th through the 22nd and National Ag Day on March 18th on social media. This year's theme, set by the Agriculture Council of America, highlights the commitment of farmers and ranchers to growing agriculture together. Connect on Facebook at Kansas Farm Bureau and Kansas Living Magazine, and on Instagram with the handles KS Farm Bureau and Kansas Living MAG. Next, Insight with Jackie Munt.
Frustrated with your current healthcare coverage? Kansans are saving up to 60% a month with Kansas Farm Bureau health plans. Choose from individual and family plans, short-term coverage, or dental and vision plans. It's quality coverage you can afford. Learn more and get a free quote by visiting KFBHealthPlans.com or visiting a Farm Bureau financial services agent near you.
Now, Insight with Jackie Munt.
Recently, I served on a panel talking about agricultural columns and how we share rural life. In the last 6 years, I've penned more than 70 columns covering topics from agricultural life and life lessons. I've grown as a writer, but also as a person. Each month, this column gives me a reason and pause to reflect. Longtime readers have shared in my life and witnessed how my family history and our farm and community have come together. One of the things I'm constantly surprised by and grateful for are those readers. So many people stop me in public or send a note to tell me how they enjoyed the column and what stories resonated with them. You're all giving me a reason to share my opinions, which I now realize is part of my own succession plan. I don't want to wait until the end of my career to pass along wisdom. This column is one of the ways I'm choosing to invest and empower people now. I encourage each one of you to take a minute and reflect on your life and personal history. With whom are you sharing your experiences? Who are your successors, and what are you empowering them to do? Most importantly, are you leaving a legacy or living one right now?
Join us next weekend for another edition of Farm Weekend from Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture.